They never told you the truth about power. They made you believe that some people are born with it, that charisma is in your DNA, that influence belongs to the chosen few. That is a lie. Power is not magic. Power is psychology. Persuasion is not luck. Persuasion is skill. And the system does not want you to know that, because the moment you understand how power really works, you stop being a pawn. You start being a player. Think about the last time you walked into a room and felt invisible. You had the ideas, you had the knowledge, but nobody listened. Then think about the rare times you walked in and everything shifted toward you. Heads turned, voices lowered, people leaned in. That was not an accident. That was you tapping into psychology, even if you did not realize it. The difference between being ignored and being magnetic is not talent. It is knowing how to tilt perception. I once watched a colleague walk into a boardroom full of executives who were already skeptical. They were prepared to say no. He started his pitch calm, confident, controlled. He spoke less, but when he did, he paused at the right moments. The room leaned closer. Within minutes, the same people who entered ready to dismiss him were nodding, agreeing, and even offering more than he asked. He bent the situation in his favor. He walked out with a deal nobody thought possible. That is the psychology of power and persuasion at work. So let me ask you, what if you could do that? What if you could bend situations to your advantage, no matter where you are starting from? Today we are unpacking 7 tools to master the mental game. These tools will teach you to negotiate smarter, use leverage, fight back when challenged, outlast opponents with patience, stay calm when chaos hits, control the story of who you are, and stand out so loudly that nobody can ignore you. The first principle is options. Never let yourself be boxed in. The moment you only have one path, you are weak. The moment you have multiple paths, you are powerful. Imagine a job candidate with 2 offers. Suddenly the negotiation flips. Instead of begging for crumbs, they are the prize. The same happens in business. A company that has 3 suppliers never panics when one fails. A person with multiple income streams is never desperate when one dries up. Options equal freedom. Lack of options equals slavery. Most people stay stuck because they accept the box they were given. One job, one path, one chance. That is not reality. That is conditioning. The powerful create options. They invent alternatives. They make sure that when the world tries to trap them, they always have a door out. Ask yourself where you feel trapped right now. A toxic job, a suffocating relationship, a dead-end business model. Then force yourself to create options. Write down 3 different moves you could make. You will feel the power return the second you realize you are not stuck. Now let us talk about leverage. Leverage is your secret edge. It is not about who is strongest. It is about who knows how to tilt the scales. A small business owner walks into a negotiation with a supplier. On paper, the supplier has all the power, but the owner pulls out competitor bids. Suddenly the supplier has to lower prices or lose the deal. That is leverage. Or picture a negotiator who refuses to fill an awkward silence. The other side panics and spills their position. That is leverage too. You already have leverage. Maybe it is a skill you bring that nobody else can. Maybe it is information the other side does not have. Maybe it is timing, knowing they need you more than you need them. The problem is that most people never identify it. They walk into negotiations blind. The powerful know their leverage before they walk in, and they use it. So ask yourself, what is your leverage in your next big move? And if you do not have any, create it. The third principle is fighting back. Power respects power. If you roll over the moment you are challenged, you lose credibility forever. Fighting back does not mean yelling or throwing tantrums. It means standing your ground with confidence. I remember a founder who rejected unfair terms from an investor. Everyone said he was insane to walk away. Weeks later, another investor gave him far better terms because he had proven he would not be bullied. That one act of resistance raised his value instantly. The same is true in everyday life. An employee who defends their work in a performance review is respected. A person who says no firmly but politely earns boundaries. Most people are terrified of conflict, so they cave. That is why they never gain respect. The powerful understand that a well-timed pushback is a signal. It tells the world you are not easy prey. When was the last time you fought back? And if you did not, what did it cost you? Persistence and patience are the fourth principle. Everyone talks about hustle, but the truth is that persuasion is often about endurance. Most people quit too early. They give up after one rejection, one ignored email, one failure. Meanwhile, the persistent keep going until the door finally opens. Think of the salesperson who keeps following up until the client signs. Think of the author who spends years pitching publishers until one finally says yes. Talent helps, but persistence beats talent every single time. I have seen people win purely by outlasting the competition. They stayed steady when others burned out. They refused to vanish. That is a kind of psychological warfare. You are telling the world, I will not quit before you do. So ask yourself right now, what goal did you give up on too soon? What if the only thing standing between you and success was 2 more attempts? Now we get to the 5th principle, the lunatic factor. Not every negotiation is rational. People are emotional. People are egotistical. People are unpredictable. And if you are not ready for that, you will get blindsided. I have seen entire deals collapse because one client exploded in rage and the other side panicked. The winners are the ones who prepare for irrationality. They stay calm while the lunatic burns out. You probably know someone like this already. The boss who screams one day and smiles the next. The client who changes their mind every hour. The partner who flips out without warning. These people thrive on dragging others into chaos. The trick is refusing to be dragged. When you stay calm, you neutralize their power. They look like fools while you look like a rock. Ask yourself, who is the lunatic in your life? And how can you handle them without losing control? The 6th principle is mastering promotion. Here is the raw truth. It does not matter how good you are if nobody knows. Perception is reality. The world does not reward the best. It rewards the boldest. Think about content creators who go viral. Often it is not because they are the most talented. It is because they told their story the loudest. Or the professional who lands a promotion not because they were the most qualified, but because they had the guts to pitch themselves. Promotion is not arrogance. It is survival. If you do not control the narrative, someone else will, and they will not tell it in a way that benefits you. The powerful craft their own story and sell it before anyone else can define them. So what is your story? How are you promoting yourself? What bold move could you make right now to make sure the world knows your name? Finally, we come to controversy and audience. Playing it safe keeps you invisible. Silence is forgettable. Controversy grabs attention. The problem is most people either avoid it completely or use it recklessly. The powerful know how to use it with precision. A brand takes a stand. Some people hate them, but the people who love them become loyal for life. A speaker tailors their message to the room. They provoke just enough to spark energy without burning bridges. Controversy without strategy is suicide. But controversy targeted to the right audience is power. The secret is knowing who you are speaking to. If you know your audience, you can push boundaries in ways that make them respect you even more. Ask yourself this: what bold move could you make that would make the right people pay attention while filtering out the wrong ones? Now let us put it all together. Power and persuasion are not reserved for a chosen few. They are not luck. They are skills. Maximize your options so you are never trapped. Use leverage so you tilt the scales in your favor. Fight back so the world knows you cannot be bullied. Stay persistent and patient because most people quit too soon. Handle lunatics without flinching. Promote yourself before someone else writes your story for you. And embrace controversy while knowing exactly who you are speaking to. If you master these, you will stop being controlled and start controlling the game. The system does not want you to learn this because it relies on your obedience. It wants you stuck in one job, begging for approval, silenced by fear of conflict, distracted by comfort. But the moment you understand these tools, you flip the script. You stop being a pawn. You start being a player. So here is my challenge to you. This week, create one new option in your life. Use one piece of leverage. Make one bold promotional move. Do those 3 things and you will feel the shift immediately. And then ask yourself, are you going to keep living small, waiting for permission, hoping to be chosen? Or are you ready to own the room? Bend situations to your will and shape the game in your favor. Because if you do not take control of perception, someone else will. And you may not like the story they tell.